What is up, everybody? This is Anthony with VR365. Welcome to another brand new episode of the show. Today is February 11th. It is about 11:12 a.m. as I look at the clock right now. And you know what, guys? Today, this was going to be a certified shiz show. You know, that was the plan for me up until about 5 minutes ago, because I've had literally zero time to work on this show today. But that's okay. So I was planning on having a shiz show and just basically kind of grab things and scramble around and try to figure out some different news stories and get into some stuff. But apparently, like, there's actually some news out there. I was trying to grab some stories at the last minute, and there's actually some stuff that's going on. So I don't know if it's going to be a full-on shiz show, but it might be a bit discombobulated because I'm going to have to kind of scramble around and try to grab stuff. Crunchy says, am I going to have another special guest? Not that I know of, unless somebody wants to call in. You know, if somebody wants to call in, it's all good. It's all gizzy in the hizzies, as they like to say. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and start off with our, you know what, actually, speaking of that, like, speaking of people calling in, I was trying to tell Gary of VR Roundtable, Steve of VR Roundtable, Chris of VR Roundtable, if they ever want to come on the show, you know, just hit me up on Skype. I actually don't even have Skype opened. Like, if somebody called me on Skype right now, I couldn't even answer. Hold on, let me actually get Skype up and running just in case somebody did randomly call in. Okay, so now we do have Skype up and running just in case. But yeah, I told all the VR Roundtable guys, like, you know, if they're ever at home and they're bored and they're not doing anything and I have no news stories to work with, call me up, man. Ring my bell. Ring my bell, ring my bell. Yeah, ring my bell, you know, it's all good. Okay, let's get into some actual stuff today. Let's see, where did I want to go for our first bit of news? So really, our first bit of news is Oculus related. And there's a lot of stuff that's going on over here on the Oculus blog. So why don't I go ahead and bounce over here to the Oculus blog, and this was posted today by Nate Mitchell, head of VR product. And it appears like Oculus does have a lot of stuff that it is about to jump off in the coming weeks and months as we move through this winter of 2019. We get into spring of 2019 and we get into early summer of 2019. There does appear to be a lot planned with Oculus, a lot of stuff that's going on. Why I'm excited for VR in 2019. And you can see that, you know, they have a little picture here, Oculus Go, Oculus Quest, Oculus Rift. And one thing we notice in this picture, see this, guys? That is a USB sensor. I wonder if these are going the way of the dodo bird. This might be something that we find out. We are nearing, like I said, I talked about this on VR Roundtable. I've talked about this on a regular, you know, on this episode right here, that the 3-year anniversary of the Oculus Rift, it is coming up quick. Let me pop my chat. That sung in the lowest key ever. Yeah, I'm not a singer, guys. I am not a singer. What was I singing anyway? But yeah. Not a very good singer, but you know what? It is what it is. But there is a lot of exciting stuff that's popping off, and I think we are nearing this 3-year anniversary of the Oculus Rift. And there might be some kind of exciting news. It might be depressing as well, but we might get a replacement for the Oculus Rift. And they might have to come up with a new poster that looks like this, but we won't see this thing. This thing will be eliminated, and these controllers will look a lot more like those controllers. And we'll see some cameras over here. And there might be a little S right there. And so that there may be some changes that are coming in the very near future. So anyway, you know, going through a lot of the stuff that he's talking about here, He's talking about, you know, the game industry's most exciting new titles like Stormland, Defector, and Asgard's Wrath. As the Rift community expands, we continue to invest in a platform that gets you into your favorite games with your closest friends. So, you know, they're talking about that. Then he talks about Oculus Go has opened up VR to even more people. 87% of Oculus Go owners are new to the Oculus ecosystem. The simplicity of our all-in-one form factor makes it easy for newcomers to get into the game, and the launch of Oculus Quest will jumpstart the next chapter for VR gaming. Okay, and then he says, you know, coming out of CES, Oculus Quest was called the savior VR needs. The experience is magical, and we can't wait for more people to try it for themselves soon. We have an exciting roadmap for Quest system software, and we plan to update and improve the platform regularly. Quest, Rift, and Go are living platforms that will evolve every month alongside the community. So, you know, by saying this, Quest, Rift, and Go, they're basically saying, look, these are our three tiers. These are the three tiers. We got Go, we got Quest, we got Rift. So it does appear that they're standing by these three tiers. They're not ready to move on from that. At least if they are, they're not going to let us know about it quite yet. And then they say Oculus Quest is just another milestone on our long journey to bring VR to everyone. Through Facebook Reality Labs, our commitment to research continues, and it's accelerating. At F8 last year, we shared a prototype followed by an AI-powered rendering system that mimics in real time how we see the world. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, now, we get down here, and this is probably the biggest news story that we got right here. So the biggest news story is I've been getting some time in with the games we're bringing to GDC and PAX East, like the latest from Turtle Rock Studios. It reminds me of playing Zelda back when I was a kid, that sense of awe and wonder and larger-than-life adventure. So yeah, that's kind of the news right here. This is kind of the news. Turtle Rock Studios apparently has a Zelda clone. Well, no, he's not exactly saying that, but if you go to some of the various websites out there, they'll say that, you know, Turtle Rock Studios might be bringing a game that's similar to Zelda, but honestly, all Nate Mitchell says, it reminds me of playing Zelda back when I was a kid. That sense of awe and wonder and a larger-than-life adventure. That does not mean we're getting like a Zelda clone by Turtle Rock Studios. It could mean that, but we don't know that. We don't know that at this point in time. Now, the thing about Turtle Rock Studios is I thought they were owned by Valve. Is Turtle Rock Studios an independent studio? So I'm going to put that question out there for everybody that happens to be in chat right now. And I did go to Wikipedia. You know, I did go to Wikipedia like 5 minutes before the show started here. And it says, formerly Valve South from 2008 through 2010. Let's see, headquarters, Lake Forest, California. Products, Counter-Strike, Left 4 Dead, Evolve. They've got 80 employees. Parent corporation is Valve. Well, from 2008 to 2010. Subsidiaries, Turtle Rock Garage. So are these guys individual now? Are they no longer part of, they're not owned by Valve? Let's see, I'm trying to see here. The company expanded from 6 employees to more than 70 staff members from 2011 to 2014 and opened a subsidiary company called Turtle Rock Garage in 2011, which specialized in developing casual and experimental games for platforms such as iPhone, Facebook, and Xbox Live. The company is working with Perfect World Entertainment to create a new multiplayer-focused intellectual property. So these guys aren't owned by Valve anymore? That's what I'm trying to find out. Let's see. Valve retained the rights. Oh, okay, let's see. As a result, Newell proposed that Turtle Rock to be split from Valve and that Valve South be shut down after the shipment of Left 4 Dead. Valve retained the rights to the Left 4 Dead franchise while allowing the name Turtle Rock and its logo to be used again by the original team. Okay. Okay, so basically they are independent. See, I wasn't sure. I mean, the last time I paid attention to Turtle Rock, like I really didn't get into Evolve. I know, you know, Evolve was a game that they had. Like they have their, here's their list of games right here. So started with Counter-Strike, the Counter-Strike Xbox port way back in 2003. Microsoft Game Studios published that. They had Counter-Strike Condition Zero. Sierra Entertainment published that. Then they did Counter-Strike Source in 2004. Valve published that. Half-Life 2 Deathmatch. Left 4 Dead, of course, was their big one in 2008. Left 4 Dead 2. Left 4 Dead The Sacrifice. Left 4 Dead 2 The Sacrifice, all under Valve Corporation. And then they bounced, and they are no longer part of Valve. They have something called Leap Sheep, which looks like iOS and Android, so that was part of their probably Turtle Rock garage. And then, of course, Evolve in 2015, that was published by 2K Games and Evolve Stage 2. Now, Evolve never really hit in a major way, but it appears that they've also hooked up with Oculus. So they apparently are banging away on something for Oculus. We don't know what it is, but that is Turtle Rock Studios. So they are in the news. And yeah, they did evolve. King Hell says they did evolve. Wasn't that a massive flop? Pretty much. It pretty much was. You know, when Evolve first came out, there was some hype that was around it. I remember when it came out because I was listening to tons of podcasts. I was a flat gamer back then, and listening to tons of podcasts. Like every single podcast was talking about Evolve. It was kind of like really hyped, but the game kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed like crazy. And by the time it finally came out, I think people were kind of like over it because they had a lot of like open betas and like a lot of like, see, sometimes companies screw up by having too many open betas, too many samplers. And then by the time the game comes out, I think that kind of happened with Echo Combat. And it might kind of be happening with Space Junkies a little bit. Maybe that's why Space Junkies had to like delay their game for a while. Sometimes you can't give away all the milk for free, man, because people sample that, they sample it over and over again, and they're like, I'm good. By the time the game comes out, they're good. Yeah, Left 4 Dead is a great game. There's nothing wrong with Left 4 Dead. And Walking Infected says Evolved wasn't bad. Yeah, it might not have been bad, but I think they kind of overdid it with too many samplers. Okay, so anyway, some other information that's coming out. Now, this is all on the Oculus blog, and I don't have like special videos and stuff for this, but this is some information that bounced out today on February 11th. GDC is just over a month away, and Nate Mitchell, you know, he shared his thoughts on the Oculus platform and all of that. But let's go ahead and scroll down here and take a look at this. Okay, so GDC is coming up in the very, very near future. This is coming up on March 18th through the 22nd. Okay, head down to the North Hall mezzanine lobby of San Francisco's Moscone Center, March 18th through the 22nd to get hands-on with Oculus Quest demos. Or visit us and our Facebook gaming friends at the Yerba Buena Center for the Arts with your GDC badge, March 20th through 22nd, for some never-before-seen action away from the show floor. You know, I gotta say, I would love to go to GDC, and I've actually thought about going to GDC, even though I'm not going to be in GDC. See, here's the thing. To get into GDC is like thousands of dollars, I think. It's like crazy expensive. Like to get in there and actually get into GDC, it is kind of crazy. And I mean, I could drive down to San Francisco. That's not a problem. I could drive down to where the Moscone Center is. But the problem is I'm not going to have a badge, so I'm not going to be able to get in there. So that's the problem. But I would love to try some of these Oculus Quest demos. You know, I would love to bounce over to the Yerba Buena Center for the Arts. Unfortunately, I ain't got no GDC badge, and I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, I kind of thought of that. I kind of thought of going to GDC because I'm not that far away. You know, it's like 2-hour drive or whatever. But anyway, these are a bunch of talks that they have lined up as part of GDC's conference program. They have Down the Rabbit Hole with Oculus Quest. Chris Pruitt is going to be handling that talk. They've got Game Design Workshop, Day 1 and Day 2 with Marcus Montgomery. They have Leadership, Working at the Heart of the Team 2019. That is with Brian Sharp. They have Producer Bootcamp, What the Heck is Process? That is by Ruth Tamandel, Technical Program Manager, Facebook Reality Labs. They have Sculpting and Simulations with 6 Degrees of F. Yeah, that's the way Steve called it, 6 Degrees of F. 6 Degrees of F. I like that. And he was like, it sounds like some weird sexual position. 6 Degrees of F. Yeah. It's kind of like 24 Shades of Grey or whatever the heck that was, right? Sculpting and Simulations with 6 Dolph Lundgren controllers. That is going to be David Farrell is going to be handling that. Software engineer at Oculus. And Using the Power of Games to Improve Global Communities. So they have a number of these different deals that are going on here. I guess of all these ones, which one would I want to go to? I'd want to go to Down the Rabbit Hole with Oculus Quest by Chris Pruitt, see what he's talking about there. And then, of course, 6 Degrees of F. You can't miss that one. Definitely would like to check that out. And then also, guys, at PAX East, so this is just like the next weekend, basically, right? They're going to be going to Boston at PAX East, March 28th through 31st, and they're going to be bringing Quest directly to our fans. And that's going to be, so obviously, you know, this information here kind of lets us know Oculus Quest is not launching at GDC, you know, because they're going to be bringing it to PAX East. They're going to have an unveiling of this thing. They're going to have an entire marketing idea that they're going to go with here. So this is so we're waiting for F8. We're waiting for F8 to be sure. But yeah, they're gonna bring it to PAX East. So if you're able to go to that, you might get some hands-on time. You're gonna have to wait in some hella long lines, but the Oculus Quest is gonna be there in full force. They're gonna be showing off their latest games and hardware. Gee, I wonder if they'll have other hardware as well, because guess what March 28th is, y'all? Isn't March 28th the 3-year anniversary of Oculus Quest? How effing convenient that that would be the first day of PAX East. So maybe Oculus Rift S, maybe it will be unveiled first day in Boston, first day of PAX East, a major Oculus press conference right there at PAX East. It could happen. They're also going to, let's see, public demos of a new adventure game from the developer behind Face Your Fears and The Whale. So the Whale, so not the whale, not the humpback whale. So there's going to be a new game that they're going to be showing there, probably Oculus Quest game. And then they're also going to E3, which is kind of crazy because almost nobody else is. But they are going to E3 June 11th through the 13th. They'll be in LA for E3. And they don't have anything specific to share, but they can promise some playtime with the latest from Oculus Studios. And then at the very end here, Oculus Rift. At the very end here, if you think you know VR gaming, think again. And that is shots fired. If you think you know VR gaming, think again, mofo, because they are about to flip it on its head. So yeah, I mean, there is a lot of Oculus news here over here at the Oculus blog. That's where all this stuff is going on. Why I'm excited for VR in 2019. Join us at GDC, PAX East, and E3. This is all February 11th. So, you know, there is stuff going on, guys. There is things happening today. And then another little news story, we might as well go ahead and bounce through all this Oculus stuff. And let's go over here, Road to VR. The Oculus Quest Touch controllers have hit FCC, and I believe they've been approved. Oculus Quest may not have a specific release date yet, although now that both the headset and its touch controllers have undergone FCC testing, there's little left standing in the way. So yeah, it has been approved. It is all gizzy in the hizzy. So the controllers are ready to go. The headset is ready to go, and we're ready to get the party started. Of course, you know, they're going to milk this thing for all it's worth, so they'll be going to GDC. They'll be milking it there. They're going to go to PAX East. They're going to milk it there. And then, of course, F8 most likely should be the launch. So everything is lining up for these, for the whole Oculus Quest thing. And then also, like I said, we might get, it kind of sounds like we might have some more information about the Rift S that will be coming in the very, very near future. And maybe that is it might be a replacement. Oh, Reckoner VR says he might be able to join. Yeah, go ahead, bro. Let's see. Reckoner VR. Go ahead and call me, Gary. We might have Gary join for about 20 minutes. That's sweet. Yes, Gary coming out of the blue. I've got no problem with that. Oh, yeah, you know, lots of people in chat are talking about spiders. Spiders everywhere. And let me tell you guys, this spider crap is out of effing control. Okay, what I want to know is, where's MainFan? Where is MainFan? Did he honeypot me? Was that a freaking beautiful strategy from MainFan to honeypot me into being attacked by a million spiders and having spiders all up in my face? Okay, wait, Gary's calling in. Hello, what is up? Yeah, I'm good. Okay, let me, I'm going to get you into the show here. We're going to get your audio in. Okay, go ahead and, well, what's going on, Gary? Tell us, and I'll try to dial in your volume.
Yeah, not too much. So I didn't make the VR Roundtable show yesterday, unfortunately, because we've had a bit of a stomach bug in our house, and I didn't want to commit to doing VR Roundtable when I didn't know what was going on with my kids, honestly. And also, my PC went down on Thursday, so I won't go through the whole story, but various things happened.
Yeah, so you weren't there yesterday. Damn it, I thought you were there, Gary. But yeah, go ahead.
No, it's the same old story. I know when you've had your PC problems as well. I can't relax. If I've not got a working PC for some reason in my life, I just can't relax. So I have to get that sorted out. And it was a corrupted SSD. I've got a new one on order. I've got a backup one in there at the moment. So my PC's back up and running. So yeah, that's all good anyway.
Yeah, no, dude, I know exactly what you're talking about. Because like if my primary PC is out of service, I'm out of service. You know, there's like a dark cloud that's hovering over your head until you get that thing up and running again, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's a pain because you know, I use this is my main PC. I use it for VR, but I also use it for my business. I'm self-employed and I need it sort of on a daily basis. I've got backups running all the time, and the backups failed and all this kind of stuff. Actually, the backups didn't fail, but it all turned out to be a corrupted SSD in the end. So yeah, but yeah. I've joined in here, but I've not actually seen the first little portion of the show that you've started, so I don't know what you're talking about. I'll let you lead the way.
Okay, well, actually, we were talking, I don't know if you've seen the Oculus blog today, but there's like lots of stuff going on the Oculus blog. Nate Mitchell jumped in there, and he kind of has a post, you know, why I'm excited for VR in 2019, and then talking about GDC, PAX East, and E3. They're going to be at all these different places. The one little news story that we did get is Turtle Rock Studios. So you might remember the developer of like all the different Left 4 Deads. And they also did Evolve. They did that game Evolve. And they used to, like, I didn't know if they were still owned by Valve or not, but they're independent now.
Yeah, so what's the news story there then? Are they developing something for Oculus Rift, are they?
Yeah, I don't know if it's for Rift or Quest. I don't think they specifically break it down, but let me see if I can find the story again here. But yeah, I know. Okay, here it is. He says, with Oculus Quest and much more on the horizon, expect more of that same magic we all felt in the beginning. I've been getting some time in with the games we're bringing to GDC and PAX East, like the latest from Turtle Rock Studios. It reminds me of playing Zelda back when I was a kid, that sense of awe and wonder and larger-than-life adventure. So, yeah, that is the news. And, like, if I go over here to Road to VR, like, they have a nice little Zelda picture, and they're like, Oculus to reveal Zelda-esque VR game from Left 4 Dead dev at GDC. I mean, who knows if it has anything to do with Zelda, but...
Yeah, I doubt it. But although I understand that, like the sentiment of what that person is trying to get across with that, because Zelda, even back in the day, the first iteration of Zelda and the subsequent ones, they've always had that kind of appeal, isn't it? It's that kind of even the earlier ones, they weren't really open world or anything like that, but they sort of have that kind of feeling to them where they were sort of the early open world kind of games, really. And I understand that really.
Well, yeah, the sense of awe and wonder and larger than life adventure. But that, I mean, you could have a game that's set in space, and it could have a sense of wonder and a larger than. So, I mean, I'm just saying, like, over here at Upload VR, they got a nice picture of like Zelda Breath of Fire, which, is great for the hits and all of that. I don't know that, I don't know it's going to look like Zelda or anything, but you know what? Turtle Rock Studios, see, I'm looking at this here. I was just on their Wikipedia page. And they developed Face Your Fears, but they didn't have that on the Wikipedia page. I forgot about that. So yeah, they're going to be bringing this game to, well, it might be at GDC, and then I believe it will be for sure at PAX East in Boston. All of this is going down in late March. And check this out, Gary. So on the VR Roundtable episode yesterday, I mentioned that isn't the Oculus Rift going to have its 3rd birthday on March 28th? Is that right?
That sounds right to me. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, because the first day of PAX East is March 28th. So that would be a 3-year anniversary. And I don't know, I kind of feel like this Rift S thing, like maybe, well, one of the things I was talking about yesterday on the Roundtable show is what if, because I always thought the Rift S was like a high-end thing, right? And so it never entered my mind that maybe this is just a refresh, kind of like what Sony does with PlayStation and like Xbox did it with their Xbox One, a smaller version, cost savings, minor improvements that come along with all the cost savings. What do you think about the Rift S, like all those rumors that we had this last week?
Yeah, to be honest, because I think when that news story broke, a while ago, a few months ago, and they were saying, look, there's not going to be a Rift 2. It's they're going to do this Rift S, which is just going to be a slightly upgraded version. There are a few things, I know you've mentioned these on your show the past week as well, Anthony, which just don't seem to ring quite true, like the single screen thing with the fixed IPD on the Rift S. That really seems strange, and I think anybody that's sort of enthusiastic about VR will say that seems strange, because we want to really dial in our IPD because it can make such a big difference. But also with the Rift S, I got the impression from all of this stuff that's been happening over the past few months that it was more or less like a kind of a refresh of the original Rift. So I didn't expect a particularly high spec, although I didn't expect them to go backwards in that sense as well. One thing I will mention, I think it was quite good of Upload. I think it was Upload VR that pointed this out on their article, where they spoke about when John Carmack was talking about the Rift, the Oculus Quest. And he was saying that was actually designed before the Oculus Go. And if they were to design it at this point, then it would still be a single screen. The Oculus Quest would be a single screen, fixed IPD as well. And that seems to point in the direction that the Rift S will probably be in, a fixed IPD. I hope it's not, in all honesty, and I think having the hardware IPD is a big bonus on a lot of headsets. Having said that, the one headset which I use on a regular basis, the PSVR, and doesn't have a fixed IPD, doesn't have a hardware IPD adjustment, is actually pretty good. So, we'll see where
it's
it goes.
Good anyway. For people like you, though, because you've got a good IPD. Your IPD is kind of near average, right?
I don't know. I think it's actually probably on the smaller side. Okay. I'm talking about IPD here, by the way.
Yeah.
I think because I usually set it down to around sort of 62, 60. Well, yeah, just over 62 usually. So I think that's probably edging towards the smaller side. I think the average is around 63, 64. So
see, I thought you were maybe 64, 65, because that's like the real sweet spot right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about but like when you think of PlayStation and, you know, they come out with a PlayStation 4 and then a couple years later they got a PlayStation 4 Slim, and you have Xbox. It comes out with the Xbox One, and then it has like the Xbox One Core or whatever the heck they called it. You know, they made it smaller and all of that. Do you think, because remember when Palmer Luckey, like way back in the days, Palmer Luckey was talking about that we're going to get new headsets faster than we get new consoles, but slower than we get phones. Well, we're coming up on the 3-year anniversary, so maybe, like, I know you and me, we want a high-end headset. That's what we want. We don't just want a new Rift that has some minor, you know, it's almost like a side upgrade. It's not, you know, because like if they go to the fixed IPD, that's kind of a downer, but then they have the inside-out tracking. I'm sure the lenses will be way better. I'm sure resolution's going to be higher. They're going to have benefits regardless, like even if it is fixed IPD and all that. But do you think there might be a chance that this Rift S is just simply a new Rift, and like the Rift that we have now, like they have boxes and warehouses and everything, but eventually they're all going to sell out, they'll all be gone, and then this will just be like, this isn't like a new Rift that they're going to be like, rah, 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 here's the new Rift. But it's like, yeah, there's some minor improvements. There's some minor changes. Because I'm looking at I have a story on the screen right here from Upload VR. Facebook's head of VR product, new tech soon for Rift. Surprises at GDC. So, you know, I mean, they're just kind of little hints. We don't really have much real information to go on here, but it's possible, right?
Yeah, no, I think it really is possible. And I like the analogy because I think it's been made before as well, that this could be like the PS4 Pro of the Rift, the equivalent, you know what I mean, the Xbox One X, or because, yeah, I mean, I take your point. It's not even sort of an upgrade in many ways, but hopefully the lenses will be better, the screen will be better. I wonder, though, with this, because there's been an inherent problem with the Oculus Rift since really Vive came on board and started talking about room scale. The Rift originally wasn't designed for room scale in mind. They had no reason to go down that route until they had direct competition from HTC Vive. And they sort of adapted it. It works very well. You know, once you've got it set up, I've mentioned this numerous times, once you've got the sensors set up around your room, they're all connected to a good USB port. You've got all your USB connections sorted out. The bandwidth is fine on your motherboard. Really, I think the Oculus Rift is equal in most use cases to the Vive in terms of tracking. But you've still got to do that initial setup, and marketing that kind of thing to standard users is not an easy thing. This has been a problem that I think Oculus have had since their very beginning, really. And I am looking forward to the Rift S in terms of I'm interested to see how they market it, because I think they can push that product far more than they could push the original Rift to just general consumers. I know you still need a PC, you know, a high-end PC, which is not ideal, but if they're cutting out all of this extra work you have to do in terms of setting up these sensors around your room, I think it's still going to be a benefit. And I think it'll be interesting to see how they market it when it comes out.
Absolutely. And, you know, a lot of people in chat are saying, I need Comcast, I need Comcast. I think I'm having a stream problem, and I can tell everybody why I'm having a stream problem. Both of my kids are here right now. They're both playing Apex Legends right now. Like I mean, I should have probably told them, guys, stay off the internet for 1 hour. So like if I'm having stream problems, that's probably what it is. But yeah, so this is the news kind of the day is you know, all these little Facebook things. So we're getting excited because, you know, GDC, we're going to get some more information on all of this. Let me see some other news I had today. What was the next thing I wanted to get into? Okay, I'm going to switch over here. Let's see. Let me get my Webby browser here. So one story I have is Final Assault. So we know Phaser Lock Interactive. These are the guys that had, right at the launch of the Vive, they had Final Approach, which was kind of that airplane game where you're kind of guiding airplanes in and you could zoom down onto the actual runway and put out fires and all of that. And then they had, was it Twisted Arrow? Was another game that they had, a very different game, kind of a zombie game. And then they have this game Final Assault, which is an RTS style game. Now, originally, I believe we had a release date of April 12th. Well, tomorrow's April 12th. It's not coming out on April 12th. This did get delayed. I thought it got delayed 1 week, but I'm not seeing, I'm on the Steam page right now, and I'm not seeing, like, it just has April 2019. But I just wanted to mention that this game has been delayed, so we know that it has been delayed. It looks really pretty, though. I'm looking at a lot of these different screenshots and stuff that are on the Steam page here. Really looks beautiful, and I gotta say, these games are not my type of game normally, but after playing Brass Tactics and even after, like, Tabletop Gods, that game really impressed me. Did you get a chance to try Tabletop Gods?
Yeah, I didn't spend a huge amount of time in it, but I know what you're talking about in terms, like, just because I never really played a lot of real-time strategy games before, but then Brass Tactics, it's sort of the introductory drug to that genre, I think, because I got really into Brass Tactics. I love that game. Tabletop Gods seemed like a pretty good game as well. I've not spent too much time with it, but I would love to. There's nothing wrong with that game at all. I think it's great and definitely worth picking up. This one also, yeah, I mean, the graphics look fantastic on this, and I think that the original release, which was probably close to a launch title, Final Approach, was it? Yeah, that was that looked great. I mean, that looked absolutely fantastic in VR as well. So I think, yeah, this looks pretty promising, and I'm interested to see what they do with this genre, really. Yeah.
Yeah, I messed up. I was saying, okay, so Final Assault was scheduled, I believe, for February 12th, but now it's saying April. So yeah, that's a couple of months. We've got a couple. So this has been delayed a couple of months. So. But, I got the video that's running right now, the trailer for Final Assault, and it's like army men, it's like playing with little army men, and you can see the guy, like you can see the hands and the guy's head, and you're like drawing a pathway. You're saying, okay, I want the tank to go this way. I want, these troopers to go that way. I've never been very good at these games, but man, are they just, it's born for VR. Like, this genre is like, it's like butter and toast,
Yeah, it really is. And because we've spoke, I mean, I think there's not been a VR podcast or a VR commentator that's not spoken about the fact that anything where you're looking into a kind of a tiny scene, a diorama kind of scene, how that just isn't sort of appealing on some kind of level that you've never experienced before in gaming when you experience it in VR. So this kind of game definitely lends itself really well to VR. Yeah.
And so right now I'm going to throw on a quick little trailer of, let's see if I can find it here. Eden Tomorrow. Okay, so Eden Tomorrow is coming out tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow is February 12th, and there's a lot going on in PlayStation VR land in the next 2 days. So Eden Tomorrow comes out tomorrow. Zing the Land Beyond for PlayStation VR comes out tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, there's this game called Intruders Hide and Seek, which is kind of like a stealth game where you play like you're this kid in a family that's undergoing like a home invasion, and you got to hide around, and it's kind of like a mystery, and it's raining and looks kind of cool. What do you think about some of these PSVR games that are hitting in the next 2 days? Like, what did you try the demo for Eden Tomorrow at all?
No, I didn't. No, I've seen a few things about this, but not too much, honestly. So I'm interested to try. I didn't even realise there was a demo, unfortunately. So maybe I'll give that a try a little bit later on today. But I think the first thing to mention is Zing, because we've spoken about Zing numerous times on VR Roundtable, and I think that's a fantastic game. PSVR users are in for a real treat, really, with this, because it's definitely an underrated title. And we try to give it props every now and again. I think it's made an appearance on our Game of the Year award shows a couple of times now. But yeah, I think it's definitely worth checking out, that one. But Eden Tomorrow does look pretty interesting too, so I'll keep an eye out for that. I don't know a lot about it, though.
Did you ever play Robinson the Journey?
Yeah, I finished Robinson the Journey.
Oh, you like that one, because it seems it's kind of like a love it or hate it kind of a game.
Yeah, well, when I first played Robinson Journey, it was on the Oculus Rift. In fact, I think I played it on my Vive when it first came out on Steam, and there was something with how it was being rendered when it was first released or something. I was just having a few problems. It really didn't look that great on the Vive for whatever reason. Then when I got a PSVR, I tried it on there, and it was fantastic. It really is good. The resolution's still a little bit low, but they really dialed it in for the PSVR, I think.
Because the reason I'm bringing that up is if you end up trying this Eden Tomorrow demo, you're probably going to be like, wow, this is very similar to Robinson the Journey. It's quite similar to Robinson the Journey. I don't know what the price is. Like one of the concerns I have is like, how much is this going to be? Like if it's like $24.99, $19.99, I think it's kind of like an insta buy for hardcore PSVR fans. But if it's like $29, $34, $39.99, it might be like wait and see what the reviews are like, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
But it looks pretty good. I'm excited for this one tomorrow. I'm hoping I need to try to reach out to the developer, see if I can maybe get a key or something. But it's looking pretty good. And then Zing, even for us for us that have the PC VR version of Zing, there's actually going to be a DLC that's going to hit tomorrow too. It's like this ice. Actually, let me see. I'm going to bounce over to the Zing Steam page real quick here, because I think there's some free DLC that is hitting tomorrow as well for us. Let's see. Yeah, free Frozen DLC comes February 12th. So, we've played Zing on our Rifts and Vives and stuff like that, and there is going to be this DLC tomorrow where you play like the role of some little kid in like some kind of ice world that's going on. Looks kind of cool.
Just on Zing, Anthony, how did you? I don't know if you finished it or how far you got with it. I didn't finish it myself either, but I got pretty far through.
I didn't get very far in it, embarrassingly so. I love the vibe of the game, but I was kind of stuck on some puzzles at some point. I'm trying to remember like what level I got to, but I was definitely stuck in it. And then see, I'm the type of gamer, like a lot of people, they get stuck in something, they just immediately go to YouTube, they immediately go to like a walkthrough, and they'll just quickly get through it. But I don't do that a lot of times. And then so sometimes I'll think about playing a game and I'll be like, man, I'm stuck. I'm banging my head in that game. And then I've got a million other games to play. So I'll probably just, switch over to something else. I Am Ruts says, Anthony, finish something, goddammit.
It's tough though. I don't finish too many games because that is a pretty big game. I think I've played a fair few hours of Zing and I've not finished it either. And I think I've put in a pretty a decent amount of time into it. But it's got plenty of levels to it. And I know what you talked about with some of the puzzles. They do get pretty. There are a few that can trip you up and can keep you sort of struggling for a while. I think in that game as well.
Yeah, Gary, I have Angry Birds VR on the screen right now, the Steam page for that. Did you get a chance to try that at all, or when your PC was down?
Yeah, yesterday was yesterday or the day before, I think was the first time I managed to get to trying it. That was when I managed to get the PC back up and running for the first time.
Oh, cool.
I love it. I think it's great. My kids went in there as well. They really loved it too. But yeah, it is pretty much what you guys said on VR Roundtable yesterday. It's Angry Birds in VR. It's exactly what you expect it to be, but it just delivers. And I don't think it necessarily needs to be anything more than that. I think the price is pretty good for what it offers, really, as well. It's a mobile game in VR, and I think these are pretty good. They're not like a. Again, I'll make a comparison to things like Skyrim and the Elite and the games that really get me excited about VR. This is nothing like that, but it's still entertaining enough. To me, it's kind of like a Beat Saber. People will probably laugh about that because apparently I don't like Beat Saber, but I think I consider this in that same kind of bracket. It's kind of a time sink, and it's enjoyable enough, and it does what it does really well.
Yeah, did you ever try VR Furballs Demolition, which is kind of like Angry Birds, and there's a demo for it? Did you ever try that one?
I didn't. No. When did that one come out? I think I've heard you
Uh,
talk about it actually before.
yeah, this one came out on November of last year. And
Oh,
it's
okay.
straight up Angry Birds. It is straight up Angry Birds, and it's actually not bad at all. It's actually pretty damn good. And they have like they have other different kind of play modes besides just the Angry Bird style. Like they do some different things. And I was saying, like at first I was saying that these guys, you know, the party is over because they are the Angry Birds imitator, and now Angry Birds came out of nowhere and kind of ruined their party a little bit. But it's actually decent, and there is a demo, and so your kids might like screwing around with this demo too. VR
Yeah,
Furballs.
I'll give that a try. I'm always up for these kind of very simple games. My daughter's only 6 years old, and you know, obviously I don't put her in VR too often, but she does like she played a game going back a long time now called Ropes and Dragons, and she's sort of obsessed with that in VR. To be honest, she really loves that game, and I don't think that's a bad game. It got a lot of stick when it first came out, but I think that's not a bad game either in this context.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just looking at some upcoming games, and yeah, I don't know what the next really big game is. It would have probably been Final Assault, but now that's delayed into April. I'm trying to think of like PC VR games. I know we got this Pros game. It's still tentatively scheduled for February. I tried the demo for it. It's kind of crappy. I mean, I thought it was kind of crappy. Zed looks really beautiful, but that's coming in spring. I don't know when we're going to get that. That could be a while. And oh, did you ever see this game? It's called Beat Blaster. It's by Ivanovich Games. It's kind of like, do you remember Dimension Hunter, Gary? That game
Yeah,
where, yeah,
yeah, that was a pretty good game.
and like when you were playing Dimension Hunter, did you ever think they could make this a rhythm game, like a rhythm shooting game? You know, and that's kind of
Yeah, I
what
get
Beat
what you mean,
Blaster
yeah.
is.
Yeah, yeah. I've not seen Beat Blaster either, unfortunately. You keep on top of all these games. I'm feeling left out here. I don't keep on top of all of these releases like you do, Anthony.
Well, I
I
tell
sort
you
of
what, if you start up a show that you have to do every single day, you got to find something to talk about. So I depend on all these unknown games that nobody cares about because it's like 5 minutes of talk to get through the show. But yeah, beat Ivanovich Games. These are the guys. They did Operation Warcade, which is, you know, people are familiar with that. They also did this thing called Sea of Memories. They actually have done a lot. They have a lot of little games. Final Soccer VR. I never played that one. But Operation Warcade's pretty good. And Beat Blaster, I mean, there's a million Beat Saber knockoff type games. You know, there's a million of them. But this one, I think shooting to the beat is a decent idea, I think.
Yeah, did you play there's one that you've just reminded me of? We got sent a key for it on VR Roundtable called I think it was DJ Whip. I don't know if you ever played that game.
No, I
Uh,
didn't. DJ
no,
Whip, huh?
yeah, we got sent a
DJ
key for
Whip
that, and
VR. Okay.
I played that a couple of times actually. The problem with it, I don't actually think it's terrible or anything like that. It's not a bad idea. It's a rhythm game, you know, very much along the lines of Beat Saber. But it's so you've just got a whip in your hand and you have to sort of whip it out to get these things that are coming towards you, very much like Beat Saber. The problem was they didn't get the physics quite right on the whip thing, which is sort of integral. That's the thing I think you really need to get dial in. And maybe they've improved it since I tried it, which was, you know, it was a couple of months ago, I think, when I first tried it.
Yeah, it has a release date of November 9th. There's only one user review. It's only $5, but man, there's a lot of developers out there. I wonder about these guys, you know, like the developer of this game, Game Trek. Like, are they going to be able to survive? It seems like it's such a hard racket, you know. Um,
Yeah, yeah, it is when you're trying to compete against a game like Beat Saber, which you know, it's everywhere and everybody loves it. And do you know, has Beat Saber been confirmed for the Quest yet? Has that been confirmed, or do people just
uh,
assume?
I think it's been semi-confirmed. I mean, it's a no-brainer, right? It's got to happen. It makes too much sense. It's just it would be illogical not to happen. You know what? Actually, there's a story on Beat Saber that's been on the R-Vive subreddit for like the last 4 days. I've never mentioned it, and I was just checking it out today because you know, I mean, Beat Saber, it's a great game. It's a great game, but I'm kind of sick of it a little bit in terms of like always being in the news. But apparently, I don't know if you read this at all, but apparently like the Steam VR tracking code, like Valve had to go in and make changes because there were these high-level Beat Saber players that were moving their controllers faster than Valve ever thought was possible. Can you believe that?
That seems like is that true, or is it just good marketing? If the Beat Saber guys got together with Valve or something to get them to do that, I don't know.
Well, apparently, like Road to VR has an actual story about this. Valve updated Steam VR tracking because Beat Saber players were too fast. Of course, yeah, it's a great soundbite. It's a great story. Like, is it really true? But probably.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's good. I remember hearing a story about 11 table tennis VR a while ago. This is probably going back a year now, where they had a tournament and they sort of analysed the movements of players in that game, where they were talking about like the Vive controllers and the Oculus Touch controllers, and they were saying that the touch controllers are better for fast movements. It can pick up fast movements better than the Vive controllers. And we always think like the Vive has the best tracking overall, and I do think the Vive objectively is the best tracking. But it's just an interesting thing. Like, I guess it's the IMUs or something like that in the controllers that are just slightly different in the touch, and it seemed to be of a benefit to use touch controllers in 11 table tennis.
Yeah, it says right here on this article, though it seemed like it might have been just a joke, Valve developer Ben Jackson offered up some detail in the comments, and he says, the tracking system has internal sanity checks to identify when things go wrong. For example, if our math says you are behind your only base station, clearly we made a mistake because we wouldn't be getting any signal from behind the base station. One of these checks relates to how fast we thought it was physically possible for someone to turn their wrist. It turns out that a properly motivated human using a light enough controller could go faster than we thought possible, 3,600 degrees a second.
Yeah, it's
pretty
madness.
crazy. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And in chat, let's see, wait. Oh, yeah, Paradise was saying that he talked to the Beat developer devs on Twitter, and they basically gave him a wink. He was asking him, you know, hey, is Beat Saber coming to the Quest? And they just kind of, I mean, everybody's going to bring everything to the Quest if they can, right? I mean, pretty much.
You would assume so, yeah. And again, I mean, the Quest is a day one purchase for me, and I'm just interested to see what kinds of games do come out on that and how well they hold up. I suspect they're going to hold up pretty well. A lot of people that have tried Superhot VR on the Oculus Quest seem to be pretty enthusiastic about it.
Oh, and, you know, speaking of VR furballs, one thing, what a coinkydink, you know. One thing I've been doing every day is like looking at, you know, whatever the Oculus daily deal of the day happens to be. And that Steam sale is over with now. What an incredible sale that was. But VR furballs is 60% off. This is actually a pretty good opportunity for people, like if you don't want to spend 15 on Angry Birds, they did a good job. I mean, I will give credit where credit is due. There's a little over 11 hours left. It's 60% off. It's $6. VR Furballs Demolition. There is a demo on Steam. I don't think there's a demo on Oculus, but what you could do is you could download the demo on Steam, check it out, and if you like it, maybe grab the game on Oculus for $6. Not a bad deal. Very Angry Birds-esque, and I guess the developers of this game, like they've gone to other people's Angry Birds streams and stuff, and they've, you know, they can take the joke. Like, they understand that they are kind of a ripoff. They understand it, they're okay with it, and they like the new Angry Birds, but they also say, hey, our game offers some interesting things as well.
Yeah, Paradise Decay seems to really like it anyway as well, so.
Yeah, that's VR Furballs. All right, Gary, well, you know what? I'm going to be getting out of here pretty soon, but man, thanks so much for joining me for a little while today. That was really cool because I tell you what, sometimes these shows, what I need to do, though, is I need to make a picture thing for you, you know, that says Reckoner VR and has your little picture, like your little chin picture there. So I could have it on the screen for when we do this. A lot of people in chat are like, man, I'd rather have video feeds, but and I don't mind video feeds. It's just there always seems to be so many technical glitches with video feeds. So
Yeah. No, that's yeah, it's been good to join you for sure. I've been meaning to do it for a while actually, so it's good to. It's a bit spontaneous. I just sort of had a half an hour spare, so I thought I'll jump in, see if you wanted me to join you. But yeah, thanks, and everybody, hit that like button and subscribe to his channel. It's great.
all right, Gary, I'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.
Yeah, bye.
Okay, bye. All right. Well, yeah, that was Gary checking in. That was nice of Gary to join us for a little bit. That was fun. And that really helped out, I'll tell you what, because honestly, I kind of went through pretty much what I had today in terms of news. You know, the one thing I could get into, and what a crazy coincidence with that Oculus Daily Deal being VR Furballs. I had no freaking idea. And then I saw in chat that VR Furballs is the deal of the day. How shocking. Okay, one quick thing I could get to real quick before we bounce out of here, guys, is mailbag. I haven't gone to the mailbag, and, you know, I'm not going to spend a lot of time going to the mailbag today because we're almost out of here. This show's almost over. But I figure, you know, maybe we could take a quick look at the mailbag. We did an interesting show, I thought, yesterday. We had, of course, Short Power 24 joined us. I thought that was a super interesting show. So we might be able to check our mailbag here and see some comments from that show, or even from the Let's Play that I just recently did where I am screaming like a girl. If you want to hear me scream like a girl, check out this Carnage Chronicles is full of spiders. No, it is. It is absolutely full of spiders. Ridiculous. I had no idea. And you know, the other thing about Carnage Chronicles, guys, is it's like a brand new game. That is the poster child of early access, of the dream of early access, is what Carnage Chronicles, what Nordic Trolls has achieved with that game. I said it in my Let's Play. I now believe Carnage Chronicles is like one of the 25 best VR games, period. Like, I like it better. Like, I always had Vanishing Realms ahead of Carnage Chronicles. Now Carnage Chronicles is ahead of Vanishing Realms. Carnage Chronicles is a must own. If you are a VR fan and you even remotely like, although if you got a problem with spiders, you might have a problem like I had. But let's go ahead and bounce over here to the show yesterday where we had Short Power 24 on, and let's see what some of the comments. Everybody was really cool. I really liked, everybody was very friendly and supportive, and, you know, I was kind of worried we might have some trolls that would kind of get crazy in there, but everything was good yesterday. I was proud of you guys. Okay, VR Spry Guy says, I hope Short Power 24 can come on the show again after she tries real VR. Absolutely. In fact, not only that, I would love to have Short Power 24. I'd love to have her back on like right before the Oculus Quest is getting ready to launch. Like once we have the entire launch library, like we know what all the games are, we kind of know the official date, you know, we kind of have a better idea about everything. I'd love to have her on right before then and kind of go over like the launch games, what she's excited about and kind of her thoughts. And then also bring her back once she's had like, you know, a couple of weeks playing her Oculus Quest, you know, or maybe a week later or whatever, but, you know, give her some time, not just like a day or two, like give her some time with the Oculus Quest, have her back on. I think that would be super interesting. Lee Wilson says, VR 365 always feels like a great place to hang out and chat. This show is one of the best for this. Yeah, I just felt like it's a different kind of a show that we had yesterday. I like it, and I love to have other people on the show. I think it's a good idea. It's really cool. Rendered Reality says, I feel like this guest is a perfect candidate for an Oculus Quest, then PC VR. She needs to start a GoFundMe to get her in some good VR. Yeah, it's funny. Like, wouldn't it be cool if like Oculus, you know, somebody at Oculus had tuned into that episode yesterday and like reached out to her and just said, hey, let's just shoot you over an Oculus Go real quick for you to check out until you get your Quest. That would be kind of cool. DLJ, blah, 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 blah. Let's start over here. DLG27. Short Power 24 should check into getting a PS4 and PSVR for under $500. She could play Skyrim and Job Simulator. I have only had a PS4 PSVR for about 2 years and have gotten lost in VR. It is amazing. Yeah, that's a possibility, you know. See, the thing is, like, when we think about prices for a lot of this stuff, Craigslist is another great way to go, because I'll tell you what, I have a generation 1 of PlayStation VR that I've tried to sell on Craigslist. I can't even get like $140 for it. So you could probably get an old PlayStation VR for like $135, and you can get a used PlayStation 4, like a vanilla version PlayStation 4, for like $170. And so you combine those together, yeah, you could kind of cobble something together. She likes the idea of the Quest, because, you know, it's actually a great entry point, and we're so close to the arrival of the Oculus Quest. She might as well wait. I think she might as well wait. VR_gamers must admit that show was different. Super hardcore VR gamer next Sunday, or a VR developer maybe. That would be quite a contrast. And actually, we are going to have a VR developer, Stonepunk Studios. I understand that he worked out his some of his Skype issues, so we are going to have Stonepunk Studio on very soon. I'll have to check with him and see like what day works for him. I mean, maybe we could wait till Saturday or Sunday this upcoming weekend and get Stonepunk Studios on. And Super Hardcore VR Gamer, that's our boy Main Fan. He's definitely going to be checking in with us. Also, I reached out to all the Roundtable guys, and Gary responded right away today and jumped on our show today. That was really cool. But I wouldn't be surprised if Steve comes on one of these episodes, you know, checks in. Chris might come on one of these episodes and check in. Maybe Sebastian from MRTV, you know, some other people could come on and check in as well. That would be pretty cool. Scion VR says, thanks, Anthony and Short Power 24. Interesting discussion. Ekin Hawk, great insight, Short Power 24. I hope one day everyone will bet their time in VR 6 DOF. Maybe the Quest will be the gateway as the PSVR was. And Jay Pace says, I appreciated the interview with Short Power 24. She has genuine gamer cred, casual or not, and brought a new perspective on VR 365. Bravo. Paolo Triani says, video chat would be so much better. I like to see expressions and reactions. You know what? I'd like to experiment with some video chat. The problem is, every little experiment I've done has gone absolutely god-awful. You know what I need? I need Jim Hall. Me and Jim Hall, maybe we could work on some private streams where we can figure out the video chat. Yeah, Nathy was in chat the other day. I missed it. I wasn't paying attention. I was looking at something else. I saw some people saying something about Nathy, but I didn't even realize he was actually in chat. But yeah, video would be better, but then there's bandwidth issues, and there's like, you know, there's other problems. But what I could do is I could have it set up where maybe we could try video chat, and if it's working out good, we could do that, but we could also switch to audio. Also, the nice thing about audio only is some people might not come on a show if they have to do video, where if it's audio only, they don't got to worry about, you know, are they looking good? Do they have a good background that they're behind, or, you know, so it kind of takes out a lot of issues if you just do audio. But yeah, I understand what you're saying, Paolo. Absolutely. Sloth Monkey says, cool discussion. I'd love to hear a quick follow-up as soon as Short Power 24 gets her Quest. How cool would that be? Yeah, absolutely. I would like to get her on before, you know, right before the Quest comes out, and then not right after, but like maybe a week or so after she has a little time with it. So yeah, that was our episode yesterday with Short Power 24. I thought that was really cool. I really enjoyed that. In fact, honestly, if my contractor guy didn't need to turn the power, I could have kept going and going and going. You know, a lot longer. Okay, let's go to Carnage Chronicle is full of spiders. I'm just curious what some of the comments might be over here, because I gotta tell you guys, I was scared shizzless. And no, I mean, I wasn't scared, but it's just these jump scares, man. Let me see if I can find a part where one of these spiders is, you know, I know we're seeing some spiders like, okay, right there. There is, see, that's an example. And the spider gets right up in your face, man. It is not cool how these spiders get right up in your face. But I'm just walking along and then all of a sudden, spider face. They just jump right in your face out of nowhere, and some of them are big, some of them are giant. Paradise Decay says, I must revisit this, and don't worry, the Spider Queen is quite small. Oh my God, there's a Spider Queen, really? And then Phil Urine says, this reminds me of when I'm on chat with friends while playing VR. I'll scream or yell out of the blue. They'll just be like, oh, Phil, you must be in VR. God forbid. Yeah, this was embarrassing. Main Fan says, I was hoping to play this co-op with you so I could see you covered in spiders in 3D. See, I really thought Main Fan was honeypotting me with this entire idea, because Main Fan was like, we got to play co-op in Carnage Chronicles, and I thought he knew that I would, of course, go in here and play a little bit of Carnage Chronicles before we did the co-op thing. And I got honeypotted. I got honeypotted by Main Fan, man. The spiders were crazy. Main Fan says, I use a bow and arrow the whole time. Walking Infected says, this is why you don't judge games in early access like they are finished. Well, you know, this is like 1 out of 100. Carnage Chronicles is 1 out of 100. And then Chris Richardson says, something could hatch out of it, and I'm not interested. Love that quote, Anthony. You and me both on the spider hate trail. Yeah, this was a fun one. I had a lot of fun with this one, guys. You might want to watch it. It's actually pretty fun. It was pretty long, but I had a really good... I got 2 downvotes. Why? Because I cried like a girl. Like, what happened there? You know, that is not fair. I should not have gotten 2 down. Oh, man, I never even switched over to my Webby browser that whole time I was talking about all of that. My bad, guys. I went through all these comments, and I never switched the scene. Ah, that sucks. Didn't have any of the comments on the screen. My bad, guys. Well, you know what? It's been over an hour. I need to get the heck out of Dodge, so I got to get out of here. But it was another fun day. Gary came on. How beautiful was that? And we got through some of our stories. We kind of talked about some of the Oculus Quest stuff for GDC, for PAX East, all of that stuff. Turtle Beach Entertainment, you know, they're working on some games. Tomorrow is Eden Tomorrow. That is super exciting. Zing hits PlayStation VR tomorrow. VR Furballs is the deal of the day for only like $6. It's a great deal. Definitely check that out. But anyway, I got to bounce out of here. So I will see everybody tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. I will see you guys, and stay away from those spiders. Let me tell you, they might be ultraviolet blue, but they look like realistic black widows, and some of them are huge. They are crazy. All right, I'm out of here. I will see you guys tomorrow. Take it easy. Later.